Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Apocryphal Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Friday Apocryphal and podcast. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering the Apocalypse of Adam, chapters 5 through 8.
And
we're breaking YouTube.
We are breaking YouTube today.
So here's the thing, guys. All of our
more real people to come in.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it multiple times. How about that?
And we'll talk about it multiple times. Okay, guys. Everybody out there. Okay, why are we dropping viewers?
That's interesting already.
That is interesting.
I'm going to go look.
Maybe it has to do work
Go
while
check
live.
It out.
Yeah.
So the Spiffing Brit released a video where basically he showed off some exploits that you can do on YouTube. And one of the things that you can do is if you open this video while we're live, not in a new tab, but in a new window.
Right, yeah.
It counts for another view. And now we dropped all of those viewers.
Right. So we are checking how and why that's happening. But as Eric noted,
the computer crashed.
That's actually totally possible.
Yeah, he opened 60 windows and
they all started playing.
They all started at the same time.
Yeah.
So basically we set up this exploit.
Yeah, so if you literally just open up a new window, like that literally doubles views. Yeah, you can open 3, see what happens.
Yeah,
the views will go up because as you noticed, there were how many? We had 60 people viewing, but they weren't, right? Like there weren't 60 people waiting.
Yeah, those weren't people.
Right. And the thing is it just generates fake views. And there is the thing about live streams on YouTube is that YouTube prioritizes having live streams pop up that have a lot of viewers.
Right.
So the idea is to have a lot of viewers, to have a lot of viewers, and then it shows up in actual suggested feeds where we get real viewers.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, these fake viewers are, one, not real.
Right.
But
yeah.
2, they don't count as views. And so they don't actually contribute anything to the channel. It's just a way to exploit the live system.
Yeah.
So this doesn't apply in those situations. But there's another exploit. You can increase the number of likes on the video, right? And
this one's also dumb.
Yeah, this one's also stupid.
Yeah.
All right. You open the video, you click like, you unclick like, you open the video in more windows, you click like in all of the windows. Those count as separate likes.
It's wild, isn't it?
It's wild. It doesn't make any sense. It has to be with your own account. Yeah, it does have to be with your own account. I mean, you can log into an alt.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It can all be on one account is the thing.
Yeah, it can all be on one account. You don't have to be logged into
Right.
multiple accounts in order to give us multiple views and multiple likes.
It's wild. YouTube, it's broken. All right, it's broken.
Yeah, so what we want to do today
Is just see how many viewers, quote unquote, we can get. So if we pop up in more suggested feeds, where then that will actually get us real viewers.
Now, here's another aspect of this. We want to see how much YouTube is actually fighting against us, right? We know that our videos don't get a lot of reach.
Yeah, they don't.
And even when we look into where we get reach from, YouTube isn't very helpful to us.
Not super helpful. No. They give you here are some very popular search terms, for example, that you get views from,
Yeah.
But the thing is, it doesn't really tell you exactly how and where all those viewers go and how long they stay all the time. It's not the most detailed stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, YouTube probably does have the real consistent numbers somewhere.
Yeah.
But
which the thing is, that's not important though.
Yeah, this only matters while we're live, and we're only live for an hour or 2 at a time.
Yeah, exactly. So just as soon as we're done, it's gonna reset to the real number. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, that doesn't matter. So So it's literally artificially bumping up the live number to bring in more people because that's what YouTube's algorithm prioritizes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's interesting that he released a video about it. One, YouTube didn't take down that video.
Oh, true.
And two, they haven't done anything about it unless they literally just patched it, which is why we lost all those viewers.
That could also be true.
But I don't think that they just patched it. I didn't see any indication of that. Did you?
I mean, aside from
losing some viewers, which is better explained by there being an issue with the computer.
right, yeah, which we don't know yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Either way, we can start with the actual reading. While I'm sure our brilliant chatters that are all on PCs are going to open up new windows of this tab.
It was cute. It doesn't work anymore.
Doesn't work anymore?
Yeah, it's already stopped working.
Wow.
All right.
So maybe YouTube did patch it.
Maybe YouTube patched it.
Immediately, as soon as we started.
Maybe not. Viewers, everybody out
3
there,
windows open
you
now.
have 3
Okay.
windows. Eric, can you close your extra windows
this
and
happen?
see if that impacts our viewership?
Yeah.
It was we had viewers waiting, and then it.
Right. Yeah.
According
what
to our
happened.
terrible chart here, we never got over 6 real viewers. Here.
Are you?
Well, yeah.
Are you telling me that they just so happened
to patch right away? No,
to
I'm
patch-
guessing they patched it like probably not that long after the video came out.
They must
No,
have.
they didn't, because we were seeing those viewers and other people were too. So that means it was in the system. And when they dropped from 60 to 1.
Maybe the patch was meant to go live at 1 p.m. Central
Yes.
Standard Time.
Yes,
Oh,
the
yeah.
patch probably was set to go
Yeah,
live
you know what
now.
that means?
We just missed our window.
Maybe like 11 over in
Damn it.
California, right?
Oh, we were so close.
Yeah, right.
It means they sabotaged you specifically again, Lawrence. Fuck
Yep,
this
that
platform.
was totally it.
It was
Yep.
literally
they were
just
waiting for
as we were
atheists for Friday Apocryphal
explaining
podcast.
things to you and how to do it,
Right.
so that we could really take advantage of this. And then they patched. It was like comedic.
Right. Well,
Right.
either way, that was a fun experiment, though.
Oh, what the hell?
It was a fun experiment. We'll see. Maybe it'll work later. Who knows? How about we hop into the readings?
Yeah, so I have the Old Testament Pseudepigrapha Volume 1, Apocalyptic Literature and Testament, edited by James H. Charlesworth.
I have the Nag Hammadi Scriptures, the revised and
Close
updated.
Chrome upstairs. Bye.
Yeah.
The revised and updated translation of sacred Gnostic texts, complete in 1 volume, edited by Marvin Mayer.
Indeed, and we have...
It's been a very Gnostic text so far.
Yes, it's been...
Very Gnostic.
It's been very Gnostic. It's been interesting. It's been different. Different than the Bible, for sure.
Yeah, I forget. Was this to, who is this for? To Seth, right? So
Yeah,
this
this
was for the
is-
Sethians.
Yeah, this is a Sethian Gnostic piece.
Yeah. And it's Adam, basically giving him all this information about the history of Israel, right? Except he is doing it through the lens of Gnosticism. Yeah.
All right, let me start us off with chapter 5, the fire. Chapter 5. And they will approach Sakla, their god. No, Sakla, or Saklas, probably from an Aramaic word for fool, is a common derisive name for the lower god in Gnostic sources.
Yeah. I think, didn't we cover that
Yeah,
last?
we've covered it in other things.
Yeah, we've.
But I want to make sure that our audience is reminded.
Right, that's right.
What
that's right,
words
that's right.
mean. They will go into the powers, making accusations against the great men who dwell in their glory. They will say to Sakla, "What is the power of these men who have stood in your presence? The ones who were taken from the seed of Ham and Japheth to become 400,000 men." The omission of 1,000 in the manuscript is undoubtedly a scribal error.
Oh, see, actually, it says here so the text mistakenly reads 400. So they just amended it. Interesting.
Okay, here's a question, Lawrence. How much do you respect the manuscript?
What do you mean by respect the manuscript?
Like when you're producing your translation of the Apocalypse of Adam, what are you going to do?
Well,
Are you going to go with the consensus that the authors just forgot to write the proper number, or are you going to translate what the text says?
Well, if there is a reason to think that they would have changed this thing, then I would note both things. But I think that I'm not sure if the significance of 400 or 400,000 or of 400 in Gnosticism was that big, right? So 400 was a significant number for them. Then I would say, okay, so they probably meant to change it to 400. But if there is absolutely no reason that they would have had to change it, like maybe they've literally had 400,000 pop up somewhere else and have no issues with it, like why would they change it? So I think it would depend on the case.
There are a lot of possible explanations.
Sure.
You could say, for example, the community where this was written at the time was a community of 400 believing Gnostics, and they wanted a shout out.
Right, but they will say to Sakala, what is the power of these people who have stood in your presence, who have separated from the offspring of Ham and Japheth? Or 400. So it looks...
Are 400 meant, right? These people who have separated from Ham and Japheth, the descendants of Seth, the Sethians, the Gnostics.
Right, but surely, by that point, they definitely would not have thought that there were only 400 descendants of Seth.
Oh, surely.
Yeah. So,
if you take a literalist interpretation,
right, I
but
guess.
if you think of the descendants of Seth in the same way that the New Testament thinks about the priesthood,
sure,
then you might say that there have been 400 Gnostics who have taken on the lineage of Seth. In the same way that he's not of the Aaronid priesthood, he's of it's from Genesis, right?
So not of the Aaronid priesthood, but there's the Zadokites.
Not the Zadokites, but there's one thing that they introduced for Jesus to be of.
Melchizedek?
Yes, Melchizedek.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like the Melchizedek priesthood.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the order of Melchizedek.
Yeah. And you could think about the descendants of Seth, because these
in
Gnostics,
that kind of spiritual way.
right,
Okay.
and they do directly claim to be Sethians.
Yeah, they
Right?
are. Yeah.
But maybe 400,000 is more likely. But they probably, I can't.
I mean, what I wouldn't be able to think of is how could so much work survive from a community of 400?
Well, you see, each one of them was a genius.
Each one of them was just so damn good.
The dumbest of them was brilliant.
5 head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Situationally, how did this survive? Well, you look at the Nag Hammadi stuff and you realize that it was all hidden in one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was all in one place. It wasn't in like a library, right? It was in a vessel owned by probably a person.
But also, like we have a lot of like refutations of maybe not of this specifically, right? But we have like, because church fathers, I don't know if they talked about this specific belief. Probably not. But we have plenty of references to the Gnostics and why they're wrong in the church fathers, right?
But I don't think that 400,000...
But that's way broader. It's way broader.
Look, if they were having a literalist interpretation, I don't think that at their period of time, 400,000 would be a reasonable estimation for 1/3 of the human population.
Here's the thing. Maybe
right?
we can have more context on these 400 or 400,000 if we continue. Because it does end a thought eventually.
All right. They have been received into another aeon, the one from which they came forth, and they have overturned all the glory of your power and the dominion of your hand. For the seed of Noah from his son has done all your will, together with all the powers in the aeons over which your might rules. While both those men and the ones who were sojourners in their glory have not done what you wish. Instead, they have turned aside your entire multitude. Then the God of the aeons will give them some of those who serve him. One line missing. They will come into that land, 75, where...
It's the next page.
Yeah, the next. Well, it's not really...
Well, kind of.
Yeah. Where dwells the great men who have been defiled, nor will be defiled by any desire. For it is not from a defiled hand that their soul has come, but it came from a great commandment of an eternal angel. Interesting. Maybe figurative language, and not literally referencing the hierarchy that they've established.
So, yeah, the translation here, for their souls came not from a defiled hand, but from a great commandment of an eternal angel. Yeah. So I would say if we are to understand this in the greater context of Sethian theology, I guess, then it would...
Wait, hold on 1 second. Barbara, you made a YouTube account specifically to follow us?
Wait, is that what happened?
Is that what you're saying?
Because if so, maybe it worked.
It seems like that's what you're saying. So, thanks. That's we're really niche.
Wow.
Oh,
cool.
Man.
We're pretty dope.
Wow.
I didn't know we were that interesting.
I've only done that a few times to a couple channels, and I don't have any accounts anymore.
You created one account for each one of those channels so you could follow each one with only one account.
Mhm.
Okay, so you had one account to watch like
5
Veritasium, and then one account to watch.
Well, as examples, sure.
Yeah, just making
whatever.
ones up. Wow, incredible.
I only did that for like 5 things, and
We're talking about not safe for work content here, Lawrence.
Of course.
Of course.
Right.
Speaking of not...
Jesus.
Since Genesis?
You mean you've
Been
seen
watching
me?
us since Genesis?
You've seen me?
I'm confused as to why. First of all, thank you for sticking around since Genesis, because that sucked.
Wow.
Okay.
Genesis
I
was
gotta
awful.
ask, as a viewer who watched our early streams, you know those were bad, right? It's like, we're not proud of those. Those
I don't hate them as much as they do.
No, they were bad.
they were like, we don't hate them, but they were like not
Objectively, they're not our best
very
work.
good.
They're far from it.
Like,
Incredible. That is amazing. Thank you, Barbara. That's phenomenal.
wow, yeah, that is excellent. You know, I'm glad that we trapped someone forever.
That we
You're
have
trapped
fooled.
forever.
That we have fooled someone.
Yes. No, it's
Really?
like, welcome to Ohio. Haha, now you're stuck in
Now
Ohio.
you're stuck in Ohio, yeah.
Right. Anyway, speaking of
I'm
Ohio.
stuck here too. It's fine.
Speaking of Ohio, then they will cast fire and sulfur and asphalt upon those men, and fire and mist will come over those aeons, and the eyes of the powers of the luminaries will be darkened, so that those aeons may not see by them in those days. Okay, so the stars literally
Very Ohio.
darken.
Right, very Ohio.
I know, right? So the biblical model for the apocalyptic destruction by fire is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis 19:24 through 28. The scheme of destruction, first by flood, then by fire, is well known in Jewish and Christian apocalyptic sources. Now, in Antiquities of the Jews,
Yeah, I guess I can pull that up. We have it right here.
grab it. 1, 2, 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it really? Okay. So Antiquities of the Jews, Book 1.
Chapter 2,
Yep, Chapter 2.
verse 3.
Yep. So it's quite a bit, right? But it is starting off with Adam, so that would make sense.
What you should look for Josephus portrays Adam as having predicted these events to Seth.
Really? Okay, let's find out here. Let's see. So yeah, that talks about Adam being the first man, and then how Cain killed Abel, and then he talks about he had indeed many other children, but Seth in particular. So apparently very special. And then he was like, yeah, too many for me to name the rest of them, but hey, I will therefore only endeavor to give an account of those that proceeded from Seth. So that, already Seth seen very highly,
and we know
by
that
Josephus.
Here Seth is being talked to, so this would proceed from Seth.
Right, yeah, of course. So it says that he was a great guy, very virtuous. Let's see what else here. Oh, and apparently, all these proved to be good dispositions. They also inhabited the same country without dissensions and in happy condition, without any misfortunes falling upon them until they died. Is that what happened? So did he leave children behind him who imitated his values? So this is talking about their children. Let's see. So they were also the inventors of that peculiar sort of wisdom, which is concerned with the heavenly bodies and their order, and that their inventions might not be lost before they were sufficiently known, upon Adam's prediction that the world was to be destroyed at one time by the force of fire, and at another time by the violence and quantity of water. They made two pillars, the one of brick, the other of stone. They inscribed their discoveries on them both. So okay, hold on. This is actually fascinating.
Life of Adam and Eve.
Listen,
in there.
Here, this
that
is
happens
cool.
in the Vita, doesn't it? They literally do the inscription thing.
Do they?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that there's some kind of monument that they make.
It might be. Is the Life of Adam and Eve in there? I feel like it should be. If it's not in that one, then it's in the other one. But we are coming to these realizations just as quick as you are. So it goes on to say, not beyond these inscriptions. That in case the pillar of brick should be destroyed by the flood, the pillar of stone might remain and exhibit those discoveries to mankind, and also inform them that there was another pillar of brick erected by them.
It's the other one.
Now, this remains in the land of Syriad to this day.
Syriad.
So that's what Josephus says about this inscription, about the, in this case, the destruction of...
Where's Syriad? Is that modern Syria? Modern
Turkey? It's spelled very differently, so I don't know. It's spelled Siriad, so I don't know if that's another place entirely or if that's supposed to be Syria. I have no idea. But it says that at least during the time of Josephus believed that there was this pillar standing there that had this inscription that in this tradition was given to Seth.
Okay.
This revelation given to Seth.
So the perennialist writer Nigel Jackson,
okay,
take that into account, identifies the land of Syriad in Josephus's account with Syria, citing related Mandaean legends regarding the oriental lands of Shir in connection with the visionary mythogeography of the prophetic traditions surrounding Seth. But
yeah, I mean, the prophetic tradition surrounding Seth would be the most important place to look. Definitely.
So the pillars...
I mean, I doubt they're around now, or if they are, they're probably in horrendous condition.
Right, but this means that because he says it authoritatively,
right?
Yeah. This implies that he probably has been to a location that he thinks is
that he associates with that, yeah, absolutely.
Or that he knows someone personally who has,
right? Yeah, but either way, like,
so Syriad, we'll assume that it's Syria.
Syria for now, yeah. It might not be, but I guess somewhere in Syria.
But that's interesting. Also, yeah, it's in this. Can you look through
Is it?
this?
Yeah, I'll look for the life
Look
manual.
through
So
that
these are
because
the earth bones, guys. If you break them, the world breaks, and it's
I flipped right to it.
the whole
great.
disc falls.
After they die, because I think in there that
Oh yeah, right here. The tablets. Yeah. So
is it really right where you
it's just
flipped?
literally right where I flipped.
Wow. The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, right.
Orange.
Yeah, right. Telling me exactly about this. It might be on the next page, right? Because Eve's instructions about the tablets and about her death. And remember, this is both.
Right, because I remember that they made a domicile.
Remember, this is both the Vita and the.
Yeah, remember one's on one page and the other's
Yes.
on.
Yes.
But I remember that
one was in Latin, one's in Greek.
Yeah, I remember that they made a domicile and that they had some kind of liturgical practice, right? And in that place, they made some kind of monument, right? And
Yeah, so this is something very similar, right? So
Yeah.
then Seth made tablets of stone and clay and wrote in them the life of his father Adam and his mother Eve, what he had heard from them and his eyes had seen, and he put the tablets in the middle of the house of the father in the oratory where he used to pray to the Lord. So that's a little bit different, for at least for now. And after the flood, those written tablets were seen by many persons, but were read by no one. The wise Solomon, however, saw the writings and was entreating the Lord, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him, saying, I am he who held the hand of Seth, so that he wrote with it. Oh, did we? I feel like we should have noted this. If we didn't, then I don't know why we didn't. But I'm he who held the hand of Seth, so that he wrote with his finger onto stone. And you shall be wise in writing, so that you might know and understand all that is contained on the stones.
did Josephus? I know you closed the.
Yeah, I did.
But did Josephus specify the tablets being made of clay and stone?
I don't remember that.
Damn it.
I might have.
Pull it
Might
up.
have read it.
Pull
You
it
might
up.
have pulled it up again.
Pull it up again.
Oh, my
It's right
God.
at the end of 1, 2, 3. It's easy to find. But yeah, because that's interesting.
Working me like a dog.
We have to consider how old is the Apocalypse of Adam? Does it predate Josephus?
Brick. They're made of brick.
Made of brick.
Yep.
But what is brick if not clay and stone?
I guess. Yeah. But either way,
Yeah. He literally created a combination of clay and stone into brick, right? That's what they're
I
saying.
guess. Yeah.
Right.
That was a.
That's
So,
super interesting.
I don't remember.
Does Josephus consider the life of Adam and Eve, the Vita, or the Apocalypse of Adam to be authoritative?
Probably not the Apocalypse of Adam. They're probably just working on the same tradition, right?
But he seems to think that some Sethian literature is authoritative.
Right. Yeah. Definitely something Sethian there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is interesting.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting project.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'll write like a dissertation on.
I had never considered that maybe there was some Sethian influence in Josephus.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Anyways. And great clouds of light will come down, and other clouds of light will descend on them from the great aeons. Abrasax and Sablo and Gamaliel will come down to take those men out of the fire and wrath and bring them above the aeons and the rulers of the powers and take them away. 3 lines missing.
So looks on these 3 rescuers cross-reference the holy book of the great invisible spirit.
In various combinations, these 3 names occur frequently in the Gnostic literature from Nag Hammadi and elsewhere, usually designating angelic beings in a gracious or protective role, e.g. in the Gospel of the Egyptians.
I see. Okay. This is telling me to look at the holy book of the great invisible spirit, and I think it should be in here actually. Yeah. I mean, I can take a look around.
All right,
Yeah,
you
it's-
take a look around. Anyway, there's 3 lines missing here. Now we're on page 76. Dwelling place of the great ones, missing text.
Oh, no.
Don't you love that missing text?
There with the holy angels and the aeons. I think that the purpose of the lines is to say that these angels come down, take these people, bring them into the nice place.
Yeah.
No, it's talking about the similarities between all of the Souls games with the trees and the.
No, you see, Chris, it's actually a strawberry shortcake recipe.
Oh,
It's
fuck.
It's been lost to time.
I was just doing an Elden Ring reference since that's our background.
Yeah.
I wasn't that off topic.
This is a real dragon from the Bible.
Sure.
The men will resemble those angels, for they are not strangers to them, but they are at work in the imperishable seed. And that's the end of chapter 5. Hey, if you're enjoying the stream so far, do whatever you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want, guys.
YouTube sucks.
Yeah,
I
right.
think my camera's writing up again.
I think it is too.
It does that. Yeah.
It's not.
We need a new tripod.
Yeah, I think we have
We are.
two more right there. 3,
And-
4.
and instead of
Actually, we should just switch it out. I don't,
yeah,
Why
why?
have we not done
I don't
that?
know. I don't know. We have a lot of tribe. I see them. I can count them. They're right there. So okay.
But forget that. Let's just add a new tripod to the Amazon wish list.
No,
and
I'm not
someone
gonna do
buy
that.
it for
Not
us.
gonna do that.
No,
Even though we have ample tripods, we don't need any
Yeah,
more.
instead of spending your money on some silly tripod, spend it on a book for this table.
That's not silly. The book might break. Or, I mean, the table might break.
The table might break. Yeah, maybe.
It's not quite there.
Yeah,
It's not even
got a little
flimsy
bit.
yet.
Yeah, a little bit more give.
I think it could handle a couple more books.
It's made of steel.
I think it could handle a couple dozen more books.
You could stand on it right now.
Please don't.
All right, Lawrence, why don't you start reading chapter 6?
I will. I'm currently looking through here for these names of these angels, right? So, here we go. Yeah, Gamaliel, Samblo, Abraxas are right here. And I don't see if they pop up earlier. It doesn't look like they do. And there is not much of a note on them, but they are here. But the thing is, this is also, do you remember Barbalo? Wasn't that the name of... God, that was the name of something before it was... I remember this. I remember the name Barbalo, right? That was in one of the Gnostic works that we read. But whatever, this is a different book entirely.
Hold on. Let me just go over a couple of things. First of all, I recognize the name Abraxas, and it's because it's Abraxas within medieval occult manuscripts.
Yeah.
Right? So if you look at the Infernal Dictionary from 1863, you have a picture of Abraxas.
Oh, boy, that is uncomfortable.
This
That
is-
makes me
This is
uncomfortable.
That's
Oh, what a great guy.
Yeah.
I wish I could roleplay as him in a video game.
I don't think you do. He looks horrible.
That's
look.
exactly the point. I think that's it. Yep.
It's got some Greek here. I don't know if you could speculate about the meaning.
For us to have even heard of this guy, he must have had so many redeemable qualities and skills because he looks absolutely horrendous.
So, aside from it just being the name,
Is there any etymology that you can note?
well, it says here, let's see, yeah, Great Archon. Okay, so Megas Archon. Yeah, the Princeps. It says the 365 spheres, but the word that's used is Uranoi, which means heavens. So, I don't know why they translated that as spheres exactly. But yeah, the word does mean heavens, so I'm not
Okay.
sure. But
So Abraxas is found in Gnostic texts, such as the Holy Book of the Great Invisible Spirit. It was engraved on certain antique gemstones, called
Good shit,
on
good
that
shit.
account Abraxas stones, which were used as amulets or charms. As the initial spelling on the stones was Abrasax, the spelling of Abraxas today probably originates
Misspelling.
in a confusion made between the Greek letter sigma and, what is that, Z?
well, it would be this one would be key, I think. Or this one xi. I know the capital is weird, but yeah.
But let's say xi.
Yeah.
In the Latin transliteration,
I guess.
But the word may be related to abracadabra.
What?
Other explanations exist. The 7-letter spelling in the name may represent some form of looking at the 7 classical planets. There are similarities and differences between such figures in reports about Basilides' teaching, ancient Gnostic texts, larger Greco-Roman magical tradition, and modern magical and esoteric writings. Speculations have proliferated on Abraxas in recent centuries.
Oh, yeah, that one was xi. I had to remember. Yeah, that one was xi, yeah.
Okay. But it's claimed to be both an Egyptian god and a demon. But Abrax Aslo, Gaius Julius Hyginus, Abras Aslo Therbio are names of horses of the sun mentioned by Homerus, according to Hyginus. The passage is miserably corrupt, but it may not be accidental that the first 3 syllables make Abraxas. The proper form of the name evidently is Abrasax.
Oh, there's also an issue with the name Sablo as well, and they suggest that it might have to read Samblo, as in the other texts. So,
But
slavery.
Abrasax is mentioned by Hippolytus, Epiphanes, Didymus, and Theodoret. Also Augustine and Praedestinatus.
I'm still really hung up on the Sethian tablet.
Yeah, Sethian.
The tablet Josephus how the traditions are still there for him.
It's very strange. And what's extra strange about it is that usually people look at Josephus as not being influenced by these kinds of what they consider to be heretical traditions, really.
The thing is, no one really talks about like the heretical traditions in Josephus, right? But obviously, like I don't know if people have actively denied that.
I don't think so. I just don't ever see it brought up.
Yeah, no one ever talks about that.
It's a bit like, okay, so you know how people talk about Kant and
yeah. Unfortunately,
it's all like metaphysics all the time, like super metaphysical. I want to.
But what about your duty?
Your duty is a metaphysical object.
Yeah.
But no, I want to read you something here, Lawrence.
Do it.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I'm going to.
Why are you subjecting me to this?
It's evil.
It's gonna blow your mind. All right. So think about all the things.
Arby, I like that name. Also makes me want to have some Arby's, but I can't right now.
We could after the show.
No, I can't.
Why?
Because I have a hole in my face. Well, yeah, it's still there. I don't want to get anything caught in it. It doesn't hurt, but I don't want to get anything caught in it. Gotta be really bad.
You could just have some like French dip because it's so white.
Oh my god.
Okay, so taking everything that you know about Kant into account.
Okay.
Listen to this. First paragraph of the introduction to his most famous work, The Critique of Pure Reason. That all of our knowledge begins with experience, there can be no doubt. For how is it possible that the faculty of cognition should be awakened into exercise, otherwise than by means of objects which affect our senses, and partly of themselves produce representations, partly rouse our powers of understanding into activity, to compare it to connect, or to separate these, and to convert the raw material of our sensuous impressions into a knowledge of objects, which is called experience. Right?
Okay.
That is like
that's
the
that's
least Kantian thing that you would ever think of. Right? It's
I guess, yeah.
Extremely empirical.
It is, yeah. But he took a lot of steps to get to there.
Right. But it's literally the first sentence in his most popular work. And I think that gets completely overlooked by Kantians, at least.
Sure.
And I think that this is probably an example in Josephus where it's like, hey, there's this on the nose thing that's like,
oh, right. Yeah. Like, why is no one talking about this?
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm going to continue on here. Start the reading here with the next chapter.
Which one's that?
Chapter 6.
Oh, it's still there?
Chapter 6. You read about the people.
The men will resemble those angels, for they are not strangers to them, but they are at work in the imperishable seed.
Yeah, they labor with the incorruptible seed. All right, continuing on with the next chapter. Once again, for a third time.
The third time, although the coming of the Illuminator has not been mentioned previously. This is the third time in relation to the rescue of the race of Seth in the flood and the fire. In an important parallel passage in the Gospel of the Egyptians, the great Seth passes through 3 Perusias, the flood and the conflagration and the judgment of the rulers and the powers and the authorities.
So it's interesting though. That's why they had to set up the 2 before, and they're waiting for a third one.
Yes,
and Sodom and Gomorrah, the flood.
Check this out. In that work, Seth, in his 3rd Perusia, is identified with Jesus.
Boy, this is fun. What's that work called?
That is in the Gospel of the Egyptians. Maybe we should do that.
Hold on. I think that might be in... check Ehrman's book. I think it's in Ehrman's. Okay, so check the Gospel of the Egyptians. But that sounds like a damn good time. I'm going to continue on here. But yeah, so for the third time, the illuminator of knowledge will pass by in great glory, in order to leave behind some of the offspring of Noah and the sons of Ham and Japheth, to leave behind for himself trees that bear fruit. The illuminator will redeem their souls from the day of death, for all creation that came from mortal earth will be under the authority of death. But those who reflect in their hearts the knowledge of the eternal God will not perish. They have received spirit not from this kingdom, but from something eternal, angelic. There are some textual breaks here. So it says, illuminator, textual break, will come, break, mortal, break. Seth. So it is kind of a corrupted text there, but at least from what I was saying before, hopefully fairly obvious that the idea is they will be the ones who will be saved. So these people who have gnosis about Seth and the
Gospel
next thing
of the Egyptians. We won't be able to cover that.
We won't?
As its own episode. And so I may as well go over this right now with you.
Okay.
Right? Because this is all the information about this. Right? It's been lost since the early centuries of Christianity. The only access we have to it is in the quotations of Clement of Alexandria.
Okay.
Who at one point identifies one of his non-canonical quotations of the words of Jesus as having come from the book. Most of Clement's quotations of the gospel involve conversations between Jesus and a woman named Salome, mentioned in the New Testament as one of the women who discovered Jesus' empty tomb. Eventually, Salome became a prominent figure in some circles. Right. In a number of instances, Clement interprets the sayings. It's sometimes difficult to know whether Clement's interpretation represents the view of the gospel's author, or if they're just Clement's own views. At least one of the sayings stresses a Gnostic notion that the revelation of God will be complete when people trample on the shameful garment, which could refer to the human body. But if you look at the actual material in this is the Gospel of the Egyptians.
Wow, it's
literally like each thing is just a small quote.
It is.
And it gives the source for the quote. But I don't see, I only looked very quickly there. But I didn't see the 3 Perusias.
Right, yeah. Was there another Gospel of the Egyptians or something?
Because they refer to this as the Gnostic one.
Right, okay.
And I would have to...
Okay, well, we'd have to check back on that later then.
Yeah.
So here you go.
We've got to look into that some other time.
Interesting, though. On a serious note, how much of Gnosticism survived in modern Christianity?
Very little.
Not that much at all, yeah. Because the reason that modern Christianity is the way it is partially because of all the councils, right? And during the councils, they were debating points of Christian doctrine. And the ultimate result was the heretics being, thrown out, excommunicated, whatever it may be. They were deemed to be heretical. And then the orthodoxy developed from that, which just means correct. So not very much of it survived, but it did evolve, is the thing. So certainly parts of it might seem similar, but it didn't directly come from those Gnostics.
I might argue that there are a couple of features of modern Christianity, particularly evangelicals, which are similar to Gnosticism. So you'll see like born-again Christians, stuff like that. They seem to have this like, Jesus opened my eyes, other people are blind to the truth kind of thing going on. And that seems very much in line with the gnosis that Gnostics talk about. And
Right.
if you talk to evangelicals, they'll tell you outright, like, I've experienced this stuff. It's
Right.
I feel the presence of the Lord.
Yeah, it's not like these guys were like far off from Christianity. They weren't. They
Right.
had a slightly different view of the greater deity, I suppose.
But I don't think that it's an intentional callback to Gnosticism.
Right, yeah,
at
I don't
all.
think so, yeah.
But I think that probably another aspect that carries over into modern Christianity, it's kind of hard to describe, right? But maybe there's something to the separation of the pleroma and the demiurge.
Well, the thing is,
reflected not in the figure of the devil, but in an
if we take
what was
Trinitarian,
it, Marcion, right?
But
Who talks
that
about
would
the
be
Old
close.
Testament and the New Testament.
yes, that was Marcion.
And you see people who follow dispensationalism and other schools of thought within Christianity, which almost seem like a Marcionite approach. It's very close. It's just that they don't take the extra step of saying that these are separate entities. You just say these are separate agreements, right? And I think that there's some similarity there.
Well, if you so if you have, for example, like in Trinitarianism by itself, like there is a oneness of nature. That's their idea. The being that is God presents itself as these three things. So, or in these three ways. And then but like that stands against, I guess kind of these heretical ones, like kind of like against the Sethians. But even then, it kind of seems like he's still a part of it. But like, the great illuminator, right? He's still part of it, but he's not in the same way. He seems more like in the last text that we read, he seemed to be was it successionist? Like where one comes from the Father. Like he's using some of his material, some of his divine stuff to make, I forget what that's called.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Right. I can't place the name right now. But yeah, so like it seemed like it was one of those, and they differed in Christologies a little bit. But yeah, I'm just going to continue.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
I have another footnote coming.
Okay, great. And he will perform signs and wonders in order to bring contempt upon the powers and their ruler.
I don't think you even got that far.
I did.
I had interrupted you again for the third time.
No, I was reading.
Oh, right.
Wait, hold on.
I didn't read this other footnote then.
Oh my God.
The Greek word "phoster" is used elsewhere in the Apocalypse of Adam to refer to the sun and the moon. As a title, it's widely used in Christian, Gnostic, and Manichaean sources to refer to the Savior figure, e.g. Hippolytus. Compare the phrases, the light of knowledge in the Testament of Levi, the light of the nations in Isaiah, the light of the world in John, right? So the illuminator is the terminology that they use to be consistent with those images.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to continue. Okay. But yeah, and he will perform signs and wonders in order to bring contempt upon the powers and their ruler. The God of the powers will be troubled and say, "What is the power of this human who is superior to us?" He will arouse great wrath against that human, and the glory will depart and dwell in holy houses it has chosen for itself. The powers will not see it with their own eyes, and they will not see the illuminator either. Then they will punish the flesh of the human on whom the Holy Spirit has come. Getting kind of hard there. So the illuminator of knowledge will be persecuted.
Yours had the fruit-bearing trees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The metaphor,
That was earlier on.
it's for people found in the New Testament.
Right, yeah.
But it's already traditional at the time of writing here. So this would have been a common usage thing. And there's a couple of other things. The theme of the ignorance or blindness of the demiurge is in a lot of things. Okay. Scene of punishment of the illuminator presupposes a kind of docetism, familiar in Gnostic accounts of the Passion of Jesus. The expression "punish the flesh," does yours specifically say "punish the flesh"?
Yep, punish the flesh.
Okay. Does not necessarily imply this, however. At Qumran, the wicked priest is said to suffer vengeance in the body of his flesh.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah. And there's a reference in where they say they will punish the flesh of the man upon whom the Holy Spirit has come. There's a reference to Isaiah 42:1.
Is that one of the servant songs? It might be.
Yeah, it's servant imagery that they're using to portray the illuminators.
Yeah.
So it's very obvious that this is the Messiah figure.
Right, yeah. The angels and all the generations of the powers will use the name erroneously and ask, "Where did this come from?" Or again, "Where did the words of falsehood, which all the powers have failed to understand, come from?" Now, the first
This
kingdom...
is chapter 7.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, no.
Mine isn't in chapters, but yeah.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I don't know.
Mine is in sections.
Do you want me
Mine
to
is
do
ruined.
7? Because I don't think you're gonna...
I mean, it's kind of longish.
It's,
but-
a poem.
Right, yeah. Not the biggest fan of poems, but I think maybe I can suffer through it. That you can
Okay,
take the rest
then
of it
I'll
after.
take 8 when you're done.
Okay.
Not a lot of commentary on a poem, I hope.
Now,
Oh, there's some.
the first kingdom says of him, this being the Illuminator, he came from textual break.
3 lines. Now we're on page 78.
Oh, it says 2 lines here. 2 lines are missing.
What?
Yeah. It says that on the next line it would be a spirit, and then there's another little textual
Yeah,
break.
mine has that.
Yeah, and this is up. But it says, yeah, mine, my note says...
Wait, yours is up?
Yeah.
Mine is to heaven.
Well, come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. But what terminology did they use in the original language?
That's a good question, yeah. But yeah, 2 lines are missing according to this text and 3 lines according to that text. He was nourished in the heavens. Okay, so they just filled that in. That's how we know. He received its glory and power. He came into the bosom of his mother.
He received its glory and power?
Yes, the heavens.
He received the glory of that one and the power.
Oh. No, hold on.
Of that one, or possibly of that place.
Right, because
For a parallel to this passage.
the thing is, okay, here's what I think is happening. I bet you a decent amount of money that in the original manuscript, the Greek is just an article, and the Greek is pointing back to what would probably be a dative, because it says in the heavens, so there might be a dative there. So if it's just a dative article, then it points back to the heavens being. Well, I guess it would be the glory of the heavens. You could also just have that as a genitive, right? Because if it depends on how it's written. But Either way, yeah. So it says that he's receiving the glory and power of heaven. He came to the bosom of his mother, and in this way he came to the water.
Now, this could be understood as a reference to baptism. For example, the baptism of Jesus. In other Gnostic sources, however, the descent to or upon the water refers to coming into the world, right? So it literally means like he was birthed.
That would make sense, yeah. Yeah, his coming into the world. The second kingdom says of him, he came from a great prophet. A bird came, took the child who was born, and brought him on to a high mountain. He was nourished by the bird of heaven. An angel came from there and said to him, "Arise, God has given you glory." He received glory and strength, and in this way he came to the water.
What's this from?
I don't know. This seems like something you would find in a different mythology, though.
This
Being taken to heaven by a bird and fed. Yeah, it's like a stork, but there's not much on it.
I almost want to say that it's like the Apocalypse of Abraham, where he's literally carried up
On
by
a bird.
birds,
Right.
but they're clearly referencing Jesus here,
Right, yeah.
right?
So that would be, because the thing is, he doesn't. Yeah,
There's
because this
no
is referencing like a
footnote.
birth, right? Because they're talking. This is
Yeah,
before he's coming to the world.
This is they're saying
They're
like,
they're
this is how he
they're
came.
preparing the savior or the illuminator.
Is this from a Zoroastrian source?
It might be. I don't know.
What?
This will be interesting though. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave if I had a pen or a pencil. I don't know where this is from, but either way, I would note that this is.
I don't even have one. Roland.
That's fair.
I'll throw you one.
That's fair. I'll put like a little dog ear on it.
Oh, God.
So yeah, I will note that it's probably from some other mythology, honestly. Or if not, then we gotta reread some stuff, or I gotta reread some stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna continue on.
Yeah, I don't remember anything like this.
Right, me neither. The third kingdom says of him, he came from a virgin womb. Hold up.
There's a reference to Revelation 12:1
Right.
through 6.
We'll get to that. Yeah. I'm beginning to build a hypothesis. The third kingdom says of him, he came from a virgin womb. He was banished from his city with his mother, and was brought to a desert place. He nourished himself there. He came and he
was nourished there.
Oh.
What's the explanation? Is there a Greek?
It's might be a I don't know if it's a middle.
The text reads, he nourished himself. It has been amended to conform to other instances.
Okay, gotcha.
Himself.
He came and received glory and power, and in this way he came to the water. The fourth kingdom says of him, he came from a virgin. Solomon.
Textual break.
Yeah, there's a textual break. Solomon sought her, along with Pharsalo and Sauel, and his armies that had been sent out.
These two names are not attested elsewhere in Gnostic or pseudepigraphal literature.
Yeah, so no info on those.
They're very clearly talking about the Testament of Solomon.
That makes sense, yeah. Solomon himself sent his army of demons to search for the virgin. They did not find the one they sought, but rather the virgin who was given to them. They brought her, Solomon took her, and the virgin became pregnant and gave birth to the child there. She nourished him on a border of the desert. When he was nourished, he received glory and power, and from the seed from which he had been conceived, and in this way he came to the water.
So, a couple of things here. First of all, the exact meaning of the border here is uncertain. The Coptic word translated as border is uncertain. Right? There's a line about being nourished here that was probably omitted. that occurs later on, but I want to see if that's in your text when we get to it. But the substitution of the virgin recalls the Gnostic myth of the substitution of the earthlier shadow Eve when the powers sought to defile the spiritual Eve.
Yeah, remember that?
Yep.
That was a weird scene.
There's... Okay, so... You know, suddenly porn.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of suddenly porn.
You know, like you're ever watching a movie and it's
There's
like
suddenly porn.
suddenly porn.
Ruben, we have been watching anime and suddenly porn.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure that was we're waiting for the porn.
No.
So-
yeah, I doubt it. Okay,
so
you guys
we
can
watched-
lie to me all you want.
We
but-
watched this series. It's on Disney Plus.
Oh, that's different.
Called
Okay.
Heavenly Delusion.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, like post-apocalyptic kind of like survivalist thing going on. And then there is just like brutal sexual assault that occurs for an extensive period of
Half
time.
an episode.
Half an episode just at the end.
That's
See what I mean?
what?
Suddenly.
Yes, on Disney Plus.
Yeah, suddenly porn, new category.
Suddenly
You
porn.
didn't know?
Well, I didn't know that was. If I didn't know it was on Disney.
Well, I mean, in general, sometimes animes
Yeah, so-
are obviously porn, but
Right.
at other times it's like, hey,
So-
you're watching the show and suddenly it's just super
Suddenly it's
perverted
porn.
or fucked up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty wild.
And that one's for kids. So. Have
Yes.
fun.
So
Yeah, but here, I mean, the virgin birth is in a couple of these, but won't be in all of them.
right, but it has something to do. It's linked to Solomon. That was pretty interesting. I'm going to continue on though. The fifth kingdom says of him, he came from a heavenly droplet and was cast into the sea. The abyss received him, gave birth to him, and bore him up. He received glory and power, and in this way he came to the water. You know, are they describing different religions?
They seem to be.
No, like
A lot of
as
origin stories.
as a hypothesis,
As
are
a-
they describing different creation stories of God?
Is this?
Or like the seven heavens, each are their
I don't
own
know.
creation story.
I don't
so,
know.
you know Joseph Campbell?
Right? Yeah.
Is this
Not a fan.
is the author?
Is the author Joseph Campbell?
No, not Joseph Campbell, but a thinker in the vein of Joseph Campbell, where he's saying like
they're all telling you the
there's
same
a
truth.
perennialism to it, right? They're pointing towards the same fundamental gnosis,
Right, yeah.
And if you would just get it, then any one of these
Right.
would, like get you there,
Right,
But
maybe.
maybe they're saying, but it doesn't seem like that.
No, it doesn't.
No.
This is we'll see. We'll
And
see what else there is.
Is there a relevance to the order that these are coming in? If the first one,
know.
because I haven't
I was
read,
thinking timeline wise first.
right,
but
I haven't read the Avesta, right?
Me neither.
I don't really know what's in it. I know that there's like Ahriman and there's like some vague dualism.
Yeah.
But here it's like maybe the first one's the Avesta, maybe the second one is like a Dionysian cult's virgin
Right,
birth
I don't know.
story. And then we have the story of Solomon, so they're introducing the Judeans.
Right,
And then
exactly.
the next one is like a drop from heaven being cast into the sea. Or
That
what
sounds
are-
Eastern. I don't know. Like this could be so many things. This is interesting though.
Babylon. They talk about Tiamat and Apsu being the
Well-
primordial seas. That,
Well, the thing is, it was
Yeah,
the thing is
yeah.
that was split though. It was after a battle. It was split.
no,
This
but
is
prior to
predating.
that,
Oh,
they,
okay.
yeah, prior to that, they were in a primordial form, and then they like gained sentience. and
Oh, so hold on.
interact with each
So they're talking about not the creation of a deity, but the creation of the world.
creation of. No, they're talking.
Of a realm.
They're talking
yeah, that's
about
what
the
I meant, yeah.
creation of a god, right? And not just a god, but like the actual god that all of these things are talking about, right?
Right. Yeah. this is
And if you just had the gnosis.
right. Yeah. Okay. So that's a working idea. Let's go with that and see where it gets us. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Actually.
This is nuts.
Yeah. Did I even read that one? Yeah. Okay. So he was cast to the sea.
Kingdom.
The abyss received him, gave birth to him, and bore him up. He received glory and power, and in this way he came to the water.
Now, this is strange also because it says it gave birth to him, and then they used the formulaic way of saying that he was born, right?
Right. Yeah. I feel like that might be a poetic feature.
Is he came to the water because in the beginning,
There was just water. Yeah.
yeah, there was
That's
water
how he entered
on
into
the
the
face
world.
of the deep.
Yeah. Interesting. The sixth kingdom says textual break. Well, it says a textual break.
2 lines.
Unfortunate. Went down to the realm below to gather flowers. She became pregnant from desire for the flowers, and gave birth to him in that place. The angels
This
of
is the story of Hades.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
the angels of the thing is, hold on. The angels of the flower garden.
They're twisting it in order to make it fit their theology, but this is the story of Hades.
Right, yeah. The angels of the flower garden nourished him. He received glory and power there, and in this way he came to the water. Yeah. Well, hold on.
where-
Hold on.
The angels
says here-
of the flower garden.
It says here,
Translation
cross-reference,
is uncertain.
cross-reference the legend in Philostratus about Apollonius of Tyana being born in a meadow after his mother went out to pick flowers.
Yeah, but this says that something which
Yeah.
is below, which seems
yes.
to imply to me some kind of descent story, which I would initially say that this is like the descent of Inanna, right?
No, it's not like this.
But it's nothing like the descent of Inanna. It fits, what's her name? Persephone?
Persephone. It's a lot closer to Persephone. That's true.
Yeah.
But because they say like she became pregnant and then gave birth to him. So wait, who was their kid? Who was their kid? I
Offspring
forget.
of Persephone and Hades is...
Persephone's Hades' mom.
What? No.
No.
Persephone's mother is Demeter, and Persephone was taken by Hades. And yeah,
It's Zagreus, right?
Yes,
I don't remember.
Yeah,
yes, it
because
is. It's the main
because-
character of
yeah,
Hades. It's
they made a
Zagreus.
video game called Hades, and you play as Zagreus, and like the point of it is
It's
like
to-
get to your mom.
okay.
So
Leave hell.
yes, I'm assuming that they took it from the actual source.
Huh. Interesting one there.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
The seventh kingdom says of him, he is a droplet, and he came from heaven to earth. This is where it gets real good. Dragons brought him down to their caves,
In Greek mythology, the infant Zeus is said to have been hidden and nourished in a cave.
and he still got to explain dragons there. And he became.
Oh, come on.
I mean, they're
Kronos.
Time
He's
dragon.
as close to a dragon as you're going. I mean, he's not a flying lizard, but
Right.
he's like the role that a dragon plays in a story. Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Narratively speaking.
So dragons brought him down to their caves, and he became a child. A spirit came over him and brought him on high to where the droplet had come from. He received glory and power there, and in this way he came to the water. So, okay.
You know what this reminds me of? Sublime oracles.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Early Sublime.
Second oracle.
Yeah.
it uses the imagery in the same way as Revelation does.
Yes.
So we're going to see some of this imagery in Revelation, but really just the dragon thing. There's not like a creation story in there.
We'll get to the dragons.
Yeah. The eighth kingdom says of him, a cloud came over the earth
Oh no.
and enveloped a rock, and he came from it. The angels over the cloud nourished him. He received glory and power there, and in this way he came to the water.
There's no reference here. I don't know.
In traditions about the Mithraic mysteries, Mithras is depicted as being born from a rock.
Mithras.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Mithras.
Nothing about
The thing is, I've heard some stuff about Mithras, but because it's been mostly online, I now just don't trust it. So I think like a good dive into Mithras would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of interesting stuff in this book, guys. The ninth kingdom says of him, one of the 9 muses went away by herself.
This particular story is not told of the Muses in Greek sources, but the motif of conception without intercourse, which is to follow, is a common one, e.g. in the Gnostic Sophia myth and the Greek mythology. For example, Hera giving birth to Hephaestus.
It seems like well, for the most part, it seems like it's been virgin births. There was one where it doesn't say explicitly, right? But it says like in the second kingdom one, he came from a great prophet.
No, wait. Read this whole one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the 9 muses went away by herself. She came to a mountain and relaxed there, so that she desired herself alone to become androgynous. She fulfilled her desire. Wait a minute. Yeah, I recognize this.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, this is
Adam and Eve Apocalypse? No.
No. This was in Ovid's Metamorphosis, wasn't it?
Was it? I think.
Man, this
What?
is too information rich.
Yeah,
I
because
could swear this was in Ovid's Metamorphosis. I swear, right? I'm not crazy, am I?
I recognize this too, and I don't know why.
Where there's a someone like waiting on top of a mountain, and it's like they're taking a nice warm bath. Like, what myth is that?
There are a lot of mountain myths, so it's hard to nail it down. But she goes up there for the purpose of becoming androgynous, which is to return to her original state of being within.
God, I feel like it's in Metamorphosis.
I would think so. It has to be a Greek source.
Yeah.
It has to be a Greek or Greco-Roman source because they believed in the original androgyny of human beings.
Was it in one of the Homeric hymns? I don't think so. Dan, there's a lot of cool stuff here.
Yeah.
A lot of puzzles to be solved. So if anyone remembers what myth that is, yeah, you look that up while I look these over, or while I continue reading. So, but anyways, and she became pregnant from becoming androgynous, or this desire, I should say. And he was born. The angels over desire nourished him. He received glory and power there, and in this way he came to the water. The 10th kingdom says of him, his God loved a cloud of desire. He produced him by his hand and ejaculated some of the droplet. Yes, he did. He ejaculated some of the droplet upon the cloud near him, and he was born. In other words, God masturbated.
What is this, Sun Wukong? Like, you know what I mean?
Is there what?
Oh, ancient Chinese myth.
Oh, okay. Now, there's also an Egyptian one where it's from masturbation. Yeah, I don't remember anything about a cloud.
This is interesting because I don't know. Tiresias, blind prophet of Apollo in Thebes, famous for clairvoyance and being transformed into a woman for 7 years. He was the son of the shepherd Everes and the nymph Chariclo. Chariclo?
I'd have to read the actual
I'm going
word.
to say Chariclo.
Okay.
Tiresias participated fully in 7 generations in Thebes, beginning as an advisor to Cadmus.
I know, Sumami, I know it was Amun. I think Amun jerked off and created everything. I think that was it.
Yeah, so on Mount Cyllene in the Peloponnese, as Tiresias came upon a pair of copulating snakes, he hit the pair with his stick. Hera was displeased, and she punished Tiresias by transforming him into a woman.
Oh, was it a tomb? It might have been.
As a woman, Tiresias became a priestess of Hera, married, and had children, including Manto, who also possessed the gift of prophecy. After 7 years as a woman, Tiresias again found mating stakes. depending on the myth. Either she made sure to leave the snakes alone or, according to a hygienist, trampled on them. Either way, as a result, Tiresias was released from his sentence and permitted to regain his masculinity. The ancient story was recorded in Lost Lines of Hesiod.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I think that's the closest. I mean, there's Hermaphroditus, obviously, but it's not really.
I could swear the thing about. I still think the one about the like being like in that pool in the mountain, right? Like in that spring or whatever. I still feel like that's in Ovid's Metamorphosis. I really, really feel like that's in there. I feel like I had to read it. Okay. Anyways,
move over a couple universes.
Yeah. Continuing on though, let's get through this. The 11th kingdom says of him, the father desired his own daughter. Of course he did. And she became pregnant from her father. Of course she did. She cast, broken text,
The child.
Okay. Out of tomb out in the desert. The angel nourished him there. And in this way he came to the water. Love that for them.
So
I'm not sure which one this is.
it has vague similarities to Ishmael.
It's too vague is the thing.
It is too vague. It has vague similarities to Ishmael because Ishmael is going to be abandoned and then an angel appears.
Yeah,
he's going to be abandoned in the desert and then an angel appears.
Yeah, but it's father and daughter that have...
Now, the father and daughter thing sounds like Lot.
Right, but then they...
But it's...
Yeah.
It's the other way around with Lot. And in Lot's case, it's literally the daughters who do it.
Right.
And because they think everyone else is dead.
Right.
But...
So that one I'm not sure about.
Now, it's also... It's weird. I feel like some of these things are similar to things that I've seen. Right? Because the previous one
they
is
seem
like...
similar.
Yeah, the 10th kingdom is just another one where like God takes some of his own essence and uses that to create the so it's like they are one in that they are the same material,
right?
Kind of view. But this one is weird. It literally just says incest occurred and a child was left in the desert.
Right, yeah. So not entirely sure. The 12th kingdom says of him, he came from two luminaries. They nourished him there. He received glory and power, and in this way he came to the water.
The luminaries here would be the sun and the moon.
Right, yeah. My guess is this...
Lord of the Rings. There we go.
Well, it says there, so like they assume a... Maybe it's because I've been reading a book on Mesopotamian cosmic geography.
How old is this?
This?
Mm.
I think we discussed that a little bit, right? This is like the
what's
first
the oldest
century.
It could have been first century.
No, because I think that was our best guess, right, in the first century.
But what's the oldest it could have been?
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, not entirely sure.
I know that in some Asian...
It would have to be first or second century, right, because of all the Sethian. It's Sethian.
I know that in Japan, the emperor is considered to be a descendant of the sun god. Amaterasu. And they also have a moon god, Tsukiyomi. I assume that there's a Chinese variant on the same story with luminary gods.
The thing is, I think there might be a parallel in Mesopotamian literature too. I'm not sure though. No. So that one is also a little vague. If we found a parallel myth, we'd mention it. And the 13th kingdom says of him, every offspring of their ruler is a word.
Or logos, compare John 1 through 14 and the logos speculations of the Hellenistic world.
Yeah.
But I think...
And this word also received a mandate there.
I think also that we could be seeing here a reference to Enoch literature. Because in Enoch literature, when God speaks things into being, literally the words are created.
Yeah, they literally are made. Yeah,
and
that's true.
When the angels do things, it's like they speak things a certain way and then it happens that way, right? So there might be some Judaica here.
Maybe, yeah. And this word received a mandate there.
The Coptic
it's also the
word,
last one, so this one might actually be like a Christian one.
Well, the Coptic word rendered as mandate has multiple meanings. It could be received from there, or it was provided for there. Mandate's the best guess.
I'll cross-reference the law received by the Hebrew people, i.e. the people of Shem. Less convincing are the parallels with the Logos hymn in John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see what else we have here. He received glory and power, and this way he came to the water, so that the desire of those powers might be satisfied.
So this remark is apparently an editorial insertion, referring to the context in which the passage was introduced.
Sure. But the generation without a king says, God chose him from all the eternal realms. He made knowledge of the undefiled one of truth to come to be in him.
So
I'm going to finish this section.
Okay.
He said, the great illuminator has come from foreign air, from a great eternal realm, and he illuminated the generation of those people whom he had chosen for himself, so that they might illuminate the whole eternal realm.
So a few things. First, the kingless race or generation is a frequent self-designation of the Gnostics in the Nag Hammadi writings. It may be related to the biblical tradition reflected in 1 Samuel 8. This race's explanation contrasts with the others in form and content. It is the true Gnostic explanation over against the speculations of the powers. So this is the Gnostic truth, right?
Yeah.
And the Gnostic truth is that God chose him from the aeons. He made a knowledge of the undefiled one of truth exist in him.
And whichever group this is, it says that they don't have a king, right? So my guess here...
They're self-designating as the kingless ones based off of Samuel's warning against having a king.
Yeah.
And so their view of Jesus here, the Gnostic view, is that literally God selected just at random someone from one of the aeons, implanted knowledge of the Father into them from the get-go, and then from a foreign air out of a great aeon.
Yeah, from this different realm.
Yeah. The great illuminator has come forth, and he has made the race of those men whom he chose for himself shine, so that they should shine upon the whole aeon, right? So it's when it says that he chose for himself, it's recognizing the Jews as the chosen people, right? And pointing out the same Jesus metaphor that they are like the shining beacon on the hill. That, so they're sticking with that, but it's not by consequence of Abraham's decision making or his following of God or the descendants of Abraham in any way for them, right? It's literally like, oh, well, he just picked whoever seemed best at the time from among the aeons, and that was Jesus, right?
Or it could have been like,
or Seth.
Or it could have been like, he was like preordained to do this kind of thing, maybe. Created with that goal in mind. But either way, that's the end of that section, right?
Yeah, that's the end of chapter 7, and now we're into the final chapter.
Right.
The victory.
You got this. I trust you.
Is that pretty long?
Not as long
it's
as...
not super long. Yeah. It's text. Chapter 8. Then the seed will fight against the power. Those who will receive his name upon the water, and of them all. Sentence is completely ambiguous and perhaps corrupt.
Yeah, uncertain.
The final phrase may refer to the name of Seth. Of them all. and a cloud of darkness will come upon them. Then the people will cry out with a loud voice, saying, Blessed is the soul of those men, because they have known God with a knowledge of the truth. They will live for aeons of aeons.
Forever and ever.
Yeah, it's literally noted. It's forever and ever in the footnote. Because they have not been corrupted in their desire with the angels, nor have they accomplished the works of the powers, but they have stood before him in the knowledge of God like light that has come out of fire and blood. But, okay, it's real dark there. But we have done every deed of the powers senselessly. We have gloried in the transgression of all our works. We have cried out against God. 2 lines missing. Is eternal, broken text.
Oh, this one's different.
Our spirits.
This one's different. Yeah, we have cried out against the God of truth.
The line's missing.
Because all of his work, and then it's broken.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it ends with is eternal.
Oh, no. We have cried out against bracket God. 2 lines missing. End bracket is eternal bracket missing text,
right,
end
yeah.
bracket our spirits.
Beautiful.
For now we know that our souls will surely die.
Oh, it says here, take pity on our spirits, for we know that our souls will surely die.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The voice. Then a voice came to them saying, Mikeu and Mikar and Menesinos. In Gnostic literature, these names are regularly associated with baptism or water. The Gospel of the
Especially in Sethian tradition.
Gospel of the Egyptians has it. Their syntactical function here is unclear. The voice may be addressing them directly or making a statement about them, or the mention of them may be an editorial remark or a gloss.
Yeah.
Mikeu and Mikar and Menesios, who are over the holy baptism in the living water. Why were you crying out against the living God with impious voices and tongues without law over them and souls full of blood and abominable deeds? You are full of works that are not of the truth, but your ways are full of gladness and joy. Having defiled the water of life, you have drawn it within the will of the powers to whom you have been given to serve them. And your thought does not resemble that of those men whom you persecute, for they have not obeyed your desires, and their fruit does not wither. But they will be known to the great aeons, because the words they have kept of the God of the aeons were not set down in a book, nor were they written, but angelic beings will bring them. Words which all the generations of men will not know, for they will be on a high mountain, upon a rock of truth. There's a tradition connected with Adam and Seth concerning revelations written on stone.
Yeah, we got that one.
Yes. For this reason, they will be called the words of imperishability and truth, of those who know the eternal God and wisdom and knowledge and teaching of eternal angels, for he knows all things. The revelation ends here, then there's a conclusion, but the revelation spoken by Adam logically ends here. Where to end the words of the voice of Adam is uncertain, but this is the end of the story. These are the revelations which Adam made known to Seth, his son, and his son taught his seed about them. This is the secret knowledge of Adam, which he imparted to Seth, which is the holy baptism. The identification of knowledge with, or the substitution of for, baptism is known in Gnostic sources.
Which is why he's always like, that's why they enter the water. That's where you're born.
Mm-hmm. They were literally born into gnosis. Which is the holy baptism of those who know the eternal knowledge through the ones born of the word and the imperishable illuminators, those who came from the holy seed, Jesseus, Mazarius, Jesedekius, the living water.
Yeah, also connected to baptism in Sethian tradition.
These figures in the present context are unclear. The phrase "the living water" is reconstructed from a parallel passage involving the same names in the Gospel of the Egyptians.
Of course.
Yeah. So,
That was awesome.
yeah.
See, the thing is, I don't know if it's a great book by itself, if you're just like reading it, but as a field of study, that was pretty cool.
It's, we don't see a lot of early examples of syncretism. Or,
Right, yeah.
Perennial philosophy, right?
That was pretty dope, though.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The Gnostics, more and more, I think, sound exactly like the New Agers who talk about them, but haven't read them.
Right.
So maybe those New Agers are...
Need to read some Gnostic works.
Oh, why would they? They already sound exactly like them. Obviously, they have the gnosis.
On the same line of thinking
Mm.
that I know the secret and you don't, and I'm not going to tell you, and that makes me special. And that's what the New Agers are like.
Wow. Rude. How
Anyways,
could
next week we're going to get started on Pseudophilo.
Pseudophilo? You want? It's oh my god. Hold up. There's got to be something better than pseudophilo, right?
No.
Pseudofuck.
Pseudofucks?
Facilities?
How about
Philo's in there.
did we? No, we didn't do the other two Maccabees, did
How
we?
about that Apocryphal
No,
of
we didn't.
Abraham?
We did already
Or
read that one.
Moses.
What? There's
Apocalypse of Moses. Is that in here?
Wasn't there a reference to something of Moses? Another thing of Moses that we haven't read in our most recent
The Testament of Moses.
Testament of Moses.
Yeah, that's in this one. The Testament of Moses.
That
Okay.
would line up with our biblical readings.
Wasn't the Testament of Moses another name for the life of Adam and Eve's Vita?
No.
What
I don't-
was it?
No, actually, wait. Was yeah, it might have been.
That was the Vita?
It might have been. Yeah, you might be
version?
right.
But let me see if the Testament of Moses.
You might be right. Oh, let's see. There's
Click 2. Oh, I wish.
that would be pretty dope. Let's see what else we got here. We have. Okay, we have multiple books of Ezra. The Revelation of Ezra. Some more. We have some the Odes or Psalms of Solomon. The Lives of the Prophets. We already read the Testament of Job. There's also, of course, there's 2nd and 3rd Baruch. Those are options.
I found the Testament of Moses.
Yeah.
Let's well, first let me see what it is, because if it's just another retelling of Genesis,
Right, yeah. So you go ahead and
the Testament of Moses, farewell exhortation given by Moses to Joshua.
Oh no, I don't think
Interesting.
we read that.
No, we didn't
we
read
haven't
that.
read anything like that.
No. Okay.
Yeah, the.
So yeah, we can do the Testament of Moses then. Don't think we did that.
All right, next week, join us for the Testament of Moses.
But
On Sunday,
yeah, on Sunday, join us for Revelation. That's gonna be so dope. I am so pumped.
It's gonna be different.
Yep. See you on
It's gonna be
Sunday.
the best. Do all the things, do the stuff. Join the Discord. That's the important one.
Join the
actually.
Discord, all the stuff,
Yeah.
all the rest of it. Actually, you know what? You guys need to join the Discord, because like half the people in our Discord are just people from Aaron's show.
Yeah.
Right.
We need
And,
our viewers.
obviously, you guys who view our show are far cooler
All
than
7
those.
of you with your
than those
12
chumps.
fake IDs.
And like, no offense to all the RN people, but sometimes I just want to create another role that instead of saying audience, it's like boo, right? Like, come on, guys. If you're gonna be in the Discord, watch our videos too.
Right. Yeah. Damn straight.
All right, later.
Yeah. We'll see you guys.
Bye.